All right, we're back. Normal attire this week. No more red, white, and blue. No more patriotism, which is sad. Today was.
I'm kind of actually wearing red.
You kind of are still. Actually. I'm not. But my spirits.
That was an accident. That was a total accident.
You're still in the spirits. I am.
You know what? I'm just. I love the United States of America.
I mean, after a weekend like this, it's hard not to.
It's hard not to.
It's hard not to. It's a great 4th of July. Whatever it may be, it brings people together. You go out there, you eat some dogs with your family, you spend some time on the water. If you're from Michigan, you grill, you cook out, watch some fireworks.
It's great.
It's a great holiday, but back to reality now, back to the work week, back to the regularly scheduled programming. We got 2 guests coming on the show today, as I'm sure you guys saw in the title and thumbnail, and we're going to chop it up with them for a little while. Then we got a Whiff of the Week this week is back, Fuzzy Numbers is back, of course, Comment of the Week, and even a Bangarang of the Week from Jack.
New segment.
Well, new addition to an existing segment.
New addition, that's right.
But some cool stories for sure. So enjoy, and this is the Pipe It Up Podcast. Cue the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pipe It Up Podcast, the official podcast of MLW Wiffle Ball. We are back in stew after an exciting holiday weekend. We have some special guests with us today, Jack.
We do.
You want to do the honors of introducing them?
The duo. We are joined here by none other than the home run king, Rudy Ramirez, getting 2 in the last series, as well as cheat code Chris Cheetam. Welcome on, fellas.
What's going on?
Welcome, fellas. Pleasure. Welcome. Appreciate you both joining us here on fairly short notice as well. Moral of the story is, Jack, Preds took 2 out of 3.
Yes.
And they were short-staffed. Once again, Ryan pitched really well, but I think it'd be safe to say that the headliner of the day may have just been Rudy's 2 bombs, including the iconic first career bomb.
What do you say about Mr. Ramirez? I'll just give you the floor for a second here, Rudy. Just describe that moment for us after 88 plate appearances without hitting the ball out of the yard. What did that feel like?
It's funny because I thought I had one last year against the Wildcats, which Kyle robbed me of my first home run, which was a little disappointing. So anytime I make contact, I just have no idea if it's going to be gone or not. So I'm glad I hit it, but I was excited to see it go over the fence.
I just find it so ironic how Rudy has that record now of 88 plate appearances until his first home run, and he legitimately played professional baseball. I mean, well,
classy.
No, I'm just saying it's ironic because you're unarguably probably a top 3 MLW athlete, if not top 2 or top 1.
Yeah.
So it's just ironic how it took you so long to finally get it out of the yard. Kyle happened to speak it into existence, but do you feel honestly confident up there or good up there, or do you feel uncomfortable as a hitter in this league compared to baseball?
Not at all. So, in baseball, you don't have these balls that are rising up, so that's a lot different. And then you also don't have balls that are dropping 3 feet in, whatever the distance the mound is. In my humble opinion, I think hitting a baseball is way easier. But wiffle ball is a different breed, that's for sure. This is something I'm not accustomed to with the baseball background. It's a lot harder. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You seem obviously, Rudy, like a person who, doesn't take themselves too seriously, but they're
really. Are you sure about that, Jack?
But I'm pretty sure based on my time with Rudy, but there have been some, comments obviously throughout your career poking a lot of fun at you. How does that make you feel? How do you deal with those? How do you take those comments?
So it's funny. I've actually never watched a complete series on YouTube of any of the games. My first series I watched was the Miami one, just because I wanted to see what it looked like, and it was sweet. I do poke around at the comments though, just to see what people are saying, and it's how do I want to describe this? It feels good knowing a lot of the fans are like, "Oh, Rudy's going to figure it out with his baseball background." But for the last 2 years, I've been terrible. But no, it's really cool. It's a fun experience, and I'm just glad it happened.
So you actually will open up the YouTube video and actually just scroll straight to the comments and not watch?
Yeah, I just love seeing people like Bruss get roasted, or you can't roast Scratch at all, but it's just so funny that some of these things, some of these kids say, I can't believe there's 12 and 13-year-olds that just get me so rattled. but it's awesome.
Yeah,
it is pretty funny. I mean, when you really think about how like invested people are, and you're just like, I've known Rudy like our whole lives pretty much together, so it is hilarious just like seeing people's takes on his game, his approach, like congratulating him for the home runs. Like, it is just pretty cool and funny.
No, the comments get like unbelievable. I've explained the league and like my role in the league to friends and family and stuff, and then they've gone on the internet and like seen what kids are saying about me, like in the comments or like on Reddit. Like, I had one person be like, "Do you know there's like a whole Reddit thread like about like MLW?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, like it's out there," and they don't hold back. The kids don't hold back for sure.
Not at all. But that's what's so great about the community. I take it for what it is. I think people, we are very much a like positivity first channel. Yeah. And like it's family friendly and all this kind of stuff. But, I take the love with the hate and the good with the bad. And I think it's great to read good comments when you're playing well. Yeah. When you're playing bad and people are just torching you in the comments, it's like, you know what? I probably deserve that. I went out there, it was like I embarrassed myself.
It was like the quote from the coach of the Jets when he was like, he's quoting that song where he's like, "If you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping."
It's true.
You know what I mean? That's kind of what it is. It's like if you don't have comments hating you in the like, are you really out there, competing?
Yeah, but I think in that context, Jack, it's like people like Patrick Mahomes who are just like undeniably amazing at their sport. Yeah. Then are like filled with, he's not the best of all time. Such and such quarterback should be better and ranked higher on this list, where it's like for a guy like a Rudy maybe who took a while to hit a first home run, like there's nothing like, it's not like he rose to the top and then all you could do is hate the guy. It's more so fair. Like poking jabs when you're at the bottom. I don't know. I mean, Chris, do you kind of agree that I'd say there's less hate? Well, maybe not though amongst a fan base, because like there's players in the Lions who didn't perform very well last year that would get torched. Yeah, like amongst Twitter. I don't know, Chris. Right. What's your take? You're a big sports follower, so I'm going to you here.
Yeah. Honestly, I would attribute it more to like NBA Twitter. I would say, because if you're not performing or if you choke in the playoffs, stuff like that, I just feel like it's very similar to that kind of feedback. When you're on the top of the world, all you get is just great, just fantastic feedback from the fans. But when you're a guy like me that has hit under 100 before in his career too, looking at those comments, I feel some of the hate like those NBA guys do when they're not performing. So that's where I would attribute it more to that than NFL, because there's so many guys on the field when you're in football and even baseball too. So I think I'd attribute it most like NBA, where a guy like Jason Tatum, when he's not getting it done for 7 consecutive years, he's just getting crapped on every time. And then when a guy like that actually performs in the playoffs, you get some positive feedback for one side. That's kind of how I see it.
Yeah, but then that same guy gets all of his credit taken away from him based on his post-game reaction after winning. That's tough. Tough scene.
Very true. Can't really do anything right. So
no, tough scene for sure. But another question for Rudy, real quick before we bounce over to Chris. I mean, your Preds are 6-3. Ryan's looking great. You're starting to hit the ball a little bit. I mean, how are you feeling? Do you think this is the year you guys make a real run at this thing? I know it's been tough to get past the Magic here a couple years ago, and then years before that it was the Cats a few years in the World Series. So you haven't been back since that 2019 campaign, I believe. What's it going to take?
It does feel different this year. I mean, Kratch just seems like he's unbelievable. He's just jumping left, right, back and forth on the mound and getting guys out, which is insane.
Kratch is playing Twister out there.
It's unbelievable. Like, I don't know what goes through his head before he throws the ball, but he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna jump to the left and then throw this at the moon, and it's gonna hit the bottom right hand." It's like, it makes no sense, but it works. No, I'm excited. We kind of have to figure out that game 2 situation. I'm pretty sure we haven't won a game 2 yet. But as long as Kratch is pitching the way he is, and the team continues to hit and get a little better, I think we had a good shot to put it together and make it to the championship.
Yeah. I want one quick thing. That was not an inadvertent jab at the Cobras. I didn't say your name, but yes, you made the World Series back in 2022. So congratulations. Go ahead, Jack. That was my bad.
No, I do think it's worth noting that you guys have not, haven't won a game 2 yet. That being said, those rules once you get to the playoffs don't matter in terms of pitching. So if Ryan can reinvent himself, 3 different times in a series, and just pitch every game, and he's got the arm to do it. I mean, it looks like he can do it. He's given up less than 1 run a game. He's won every game he's started. Like the guy is just pitching unbelievable. I did think it was funny though, in Rudy's mic'd up, there was one clip of Cratch throwing one of his like goofy pitches, and it wasn't even anywhere close to the zone, which is just funny because he makes it like the way the video is edited. It makes it look like he can just do whatever he wants all the time. A little bit true. And you don't see the couple where like the guy doesn't even swing at it because he sees him do that, and then he like misses by a considerable margin. I mean,
because he's not going to do that when he's walking a guy. Like, I don't think he'll throw that in a 3-1 count.
No.
So you only see like the 0-2 or the 1-2 pitches where he goes to that. But in his defense, he is pretty good at it.
Oh, he's phenomenal.
He's pretty good at it.
Phenomenal. I mean, there's probably more that he's hitting on the board than missing.
I agree.
But still, they're so crazy that it's like it's got to be like perfect for it to work. And if it doesn't, it ends up obviously being a sprayed pitch. Also,
Jack. And I guess, Rudy, you can weigh on this too a little bit, but I don't want to... I think it's too early to just say, like, the Crash needs to reinvent himself 3 times in the playoffs. Like, it stinks that Levi couldn't make it to this last one. Yeah. Because I would have liked to see Levi give it a shot again. But McGlade also, he's been hit or miss a little bit, but I still think the Preds could find something there with Levi.
Yeah.
In the regular season, but again, if I'm Cratch, if I'm Warda, that's probably a big picture thing. I don't know, but it'd be tough to like throw Levi into a postseason series too at this point.
They would have to co-manage it. They'd have to really, they'd have to really think about whose call that is.
So
first and foremost,
I think right now for Levi in this first year his rookie campaign here, I think at best you'd see him like say the Preds are playing in a World Series or a 3-game series and they get down in a game, then to like take eyes off of Ryan for a little bit. Put Levi in.
I mean, think about it. It's like, think about you're the Preds in your first playoff series. You win game 1. Don't you want to lock up the series? Let's just go Cratch.
Yeah.
You lose game 1. Well, we got to win. So let's put Cratch in. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. I agree with you where I think Levi can come back, have a good finish, have a good season. I still don't know. He would have to be like lights out, I think, for Cratch and Warda. Depending on who's making the decision, to have enough confidence in him to actually put him out there in the playoffs. You know what I mean?
Rudy, why don't you throw?
Well, one, I've never played wiffle ball before. Like, even as a kid, I know my dad hated like when I golfed or played wiffle ball because it'd mess up your baseball swing, which I totally get. But also, I'm a kid, so let me have fun. But anyways, I've always thought of the idea of actually pitching. I've never got the reps. Like, I've never thrown a wiffle ball before, so I don't know how it moves. But I'm sure, with time and like the actual effort, I think I'd be okay. But again, we're just we're deep in the season. You're not going to experiment, putting me out there where, you see a Levi, he's on Instagram and you see him all these, Levi puts in the time. That's for sure.
He does. He's very good. I think it's just a combination of being new, big spotlight. He's young.
Yeah, he's got to learn.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
got to earn his stripes.
It'll come with time.
Sticking on the game 2 talk for a second here. Gators, obviously, they won game 2. Adams looked pretty sharp on the mound. Chris, the Gators bullpen has overall looked solid this year. But I think, as the viewer, I was definitely wondering after seeing that game 2 performance from Jeremy and the win, whether or not you guys would come back to him. And he ended up going with Sawyer. So I guess I'd pose the question, is there ever a scenario where you would go with Jeremy in 2 out of 3 of a series, or do you think you guys are really ride or die with Sawyer as your ace?
Yeah, I mean, I knew this one was coming for sure. And I told Jason right after I made the decision to go back to Sawyer that if we lose this game, even if it's 1-0, I already know what the comments are going to say, that we should have went with Jeremy. And I definitely think that's a fair point. And Jeremy, he made the decision very difficult. I mean, he was awesome in game 2. But what the fans don't see is that, I mean, his warm up and his first couple batters, he didn't throw a single strike for I mean, he had like 15 pitches in warmups, and then his first couple at bats, like I was pretty close to coming in. Like that's what the fans don't know. I will say I was.
Wow.
But he was able to figure it out, and he pitched fantastic. Shout out to him. He figured it out really quick, and once he found a couple pitches that were working, he was dialed. But I was a little worried with us switching to a new ball that we could run into the same problem in Game 3, and Sawyer's stuff just plays better with a clean ball. I mean, he's got some of the best stuff in the league, and an angry Sawyer, as he was after Game 1, is somebody I want, pitching behind me pretty much, you know what I mean? So I put him back out there Game 3. It kind of felt a little like the Eagles series, except for Jeremy wasn't as dialed against the Eagles. So it definitely, I mean, I literally said to Jeremy, I'm like, this is one of the hardest decisions I've had to make so far as a manager, to not let you go back out there for Game 3. But Sawyer went into the season as an ace for us. Yeah, I told him that before the year. He's going to have to keep the job, obviously, but I still felt like his stuff in that Game 1 was awesome. It was just, a couple bad pitches. They did miss. I mean, Rudy hit a couple off of him. Cratch was locked into. He really threw like 5 or 6 bad pitches the whole series. And usually, there could be a series where you throw a few bad pitches and they're just a couple balls, or you get away with a strike there. But I felt like every time he messed up, it was a home run. I mean, they didn't even have a single other hit outside of a home run. So it's like,
yeah.
And that's the most important part of our game, I'd say, outside of walks, getting runners on, and then hitting them in with big home runs. That's what the Preds did, and shout out to them. But I really felt like, against a different lineup, I mean, he could have thrown 6 scoreless out there. He wasn't wild, and they made him pay for a few mistakes. So, but yeah, I could see a situation where Jeremy may go out there for 2, especially, where our backs are against the wall a little here. So, if the Cat series doesn't go that well for us, pretty good chance we'll see him for 2. So in that case, definitely, but we'll have to see.
Mm-hmm. So on that note, real quick, Tommy, you mentioned that the Predators, Rudy was able to show up, Cratch hit some home runs. With them having, a depleted lineup there, not having Russell, who, is one of their better hitters, did it cross your mind to just put Cratch on and not pitch to him? Because you guys were still pitching to him the whole time.
Right.
He did end up hitting a home run. I don't know if that was the game-winning home run in Game 3. Did he hit a home run in Game 3?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, I don't know if it was ultimately the difference in the game. But I'm just curious because it's a narrative I've been trying to push on this podcast to just start walking him. So I was wondering if it even crossed your mind.
Yeah, no, I mean, before the series, it was definitely a big thought of mine. But the way Sawyer pitches, he doesn't have the best command of all of the aces. I'd say he relies more on getting, people to chase and stuff like that. So it's like if you start throwing people on, yeah, he has a better chance to walk a guy in, and I feel good about his stuff too. So it's like, and again, he was pitching great. I mean, again, the final numbers may not indicate that, but his stuff was fantastic all series. And, a guy like Ryan, he does swing the bat a lot. So it's like, if he's not going to home run, he has a pretty high strikeout rate. So, if we start putting him on, he could end up coming back up with the bases loaded. And then that's when,
that's a good point.
You can't pitch around him. So it's like, if Sawyer's like, okay, well, we're going to put him on with nobody out, and then Rudy takes a walk and like Warda gets a hit or something like that. Next thing you know, you got Ryan up with 1 out or nobody out and bases loaded. And then that's when, I mean, if he homers there, it's a death sentence. So I kind of felt like a solo home run, although our offense has been terrible all year, I still feel like a solo home run doesn't totally crush you. So I guess that was my thought. It was like, it would have to be a pretty particular situation to walk him, because I did feel pretty good about Sawyer's ability to strike him out if he wasn't going to homer.
Agreed.
All he does is homer.
Right. He does homer a lot.
Statistically, all he does is homer.
Tough.
He literally only homers.
Right.
It's been impressive so far. The power numbers from Cratch have been remarkable this year through the first half. Sawyer, he's not doing bad per se, but I'd say he's right at that threshold of where you need him to be as a true ace in this league. The numbers I have met right now are 2-4 record-wise, which of course is bad, but his ERA is 1.95. That ERA is nowhere near being considered bad at all.
Right.
If that was a number 2 arm, that'd be fantastic. Right now, ERAs in this league are super, super low because of the Robles and Norp battle in Miami was crazy, and there's been some low-scoring games. But usually, anything sub 1.5, like 1.3 to 1.5 and lower than that, it's like aces. You know, people have won Cy Youngs at like, low ones in this league. So it's not like he's that far off the mark. It's that, it's that 1 or 2 home run balls a series that's really killing him. And which you wouldn't think would happen because he does throw that nasty drop ball, but I think it's his secondary pitches probably that are costing him a little bit. But he's definitely like, he's not like a total, like this is the reason why the Gators are losing games type thing. It's just, it's the home run balls with guys on base and then just the offense not getting it going enough. So
I was going to say, I mean, one way to help that out is to get the offense going a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Part of that trade to get Sawyer was getting rid of arguably your best bat in Jorgensen. Thoughts, I guess, halfway through the year on that trade, good trade, bad trade, sort of, what you're feeling now as the manager.
Yeah, I mean, Jeremy honestly was supposed to be like, Jorgie's a very good hitter for sure, but last year was a career season for him. So I was kind of like, you know what, this might be the time for us to get a little bit younger. We haven't made the playoffs in 2 years. So my mindset in that way was, well, we got Sawyer for Zerlag, which again, we needed an ace with me and Jorgie kind of, I still feel like if I was getting the innings, I could be, a borderline 1 guy, but I'm kind of in that no man's land where, I feel like I'd be a pretty good 2 guy still, but it's like this year, I felt like letting Jeremy go out there and earn his stripes was a better call. And he showed that last series. He was fantastic in game 2 for us and honestly gave us a chance to come back in that series for sure. Cause, we really needed that at least to take 1 to keep our season alive. And had he not found it halfway through that first inning, we were in some deep trouble. But overall, I've liked what Sawyer's brought to the team. He brings a lot of energy. He's not going to take a lot of walks, but he has showed some flashes at the plate too. He's making some good swings, and I think his stuff ranks up there with the best guys in the league. Sometimes his command, and then for whatever reason, like you said, he's getting hit hard when people do finally make contact. So it's about limiting those home run balls. I think our schedule's been tough too. We have faced some teams shorthanded, so maybe not everybody's A lineup in there, but I'd say we've played 3 of the best teams in the league so far with some elite hitters. So I think that has a little bit to do with it as well. But I'm happy with the moves overall. I think we're playing much more competitive wiffle ball out there. I feel like me and Jason have been role players, nothing special for sure, but I feel like we're both seeing the ball pretty well, and we just haven't been able to come up with these other teams are doing it to us, and we just haven't had the answer for it. So second half, we got to find some answers, or it's on to next year.
Yeah, I mean first of all, I think the ROI on the Sawyer Zerlag swap is pretty darn good.
It's unbelievable.
You can't be too upset at that one.
It's unbelievable,
right? But like you said, I like the Jorgie Adams move too because it gives you that young gun. Adams had a walk off already, almost 2 walk offs. He's throwing the ball well. Chris, I gotta say too, I feel like offensively, you and Jason are, in my opinion, correct me if I'm wrong here, but you're picking it up a little bit compared to what I saw at you guys last year, hitting the ball out of the park a few times here and there. You've been practicing, I know, as well. Do you think that's played a role in getting you a little better in the box?
Yeah, honestly, I really felt lost out there last year, and my stats after 3 series are nothing special for sure. I mean, this is still like so far been statistically my second worst year of my career to this point, but I feel like I've been pretty unlucky when I do hit it and play. I feel like I've been putting together some good at bats. I just have had a couple moments where I haven't come through in the clutch. And honestly, I feel like me and Jason have had very similar seasons. Like he struggled against the Eagles. I felt really good at the plate against the Eagles. And then the Preds, we both homer, but I felt like he performed a little better than me in the Preds series. So I feel like both of us, we're trying to just figure out what the next step is in this league. I still practice pitching a lot too, so I pitched an inning against the Eagles and felt all right out there. But it's just about kind of ushering on these new stars. Like I think Sawyer he's a great player, obviously, so I want to give him as many opportunities as I can on the mound. And then Jeremy, same thing. Letting these 2 kind of try to go out there and win us some games, man. I mean, because clearly me and Jason being on the same team with Jorgie, and it didn't work out. Let's keep it that way. I mean, we didn't perform very well. So This year has felt different, I will say. I don't think we're as bad as our record by any means. We haven't gotten really embarrassed this year at all like we were last year. And again, I think two big things we got to improve on is just we got to take some more walks. We've all been kind of struggling with our walk percentages. We probably are dead last in the league in walks as a team overall offensively. And then the home run ball just hasn't been there either. So, I mean, we literally didn't homer until Jeremy did in that walk-off he had was our first homer. And then we hit a couple kind of meaningless ones last series. So those are the two big things with offense. You got to get people on and you got to hit them in. And we've done an atrocious job of both. So, we'll see if we can turn it around here against the Cats and the D-backs. It's going to be big for us, even if we don't make the playoffs, just getting some momentum, figuring out what assessing the draft class next year, figuring out what our needs are, right now I'm kind of on the fence whether we need a pitcher or a hitter, but these last two series are going to be a big deal to find out.
Very true. It's you guys got to root hard for the Eagles here going into the All-Star break because that's probably your best shot. I mean, either way, you got to hope for a lopsided series there to hope that one of them loses a bunch of games and puts you within striking range. But the D-backs losing would be nice because you have them head-to-head as well before they go off to Vermont, I believe. So a lot of football to be played still. The Gators have not been swept yet this year. Just not winning series. So that kind of just is what it is. And you mentioned how your home run didn't mean a whole lot. I don't know who wrote this, one of our Pipe It Up producers here in Southeast Michigan, but it says under our Game 1 notes, we have Rudy hits iconic first career home run. And the next bullet point says Cheetam garbage time home run.
That's very true, but it still felt good. It's been
still
about
counts
13
in the stats.
months.
All looks the same in the books. And it was a shot, a little opposite field piece. That was a nice swing.
Yeah, it was a good swing for sure. I've missed that. I haven't been able to get the ball in the air, so it was good for the confidence sake because I feel like I've been putting good swings on it, hitting a lot of hard ground balls just right at people and a lot of, just missed pop-ups too. So it was good to finally barrel one up in the air and get one out of here because, I mean, my last home run was in Game 1 against the Magic last year. So, it's kind of forgot what it felt like. So even in a garbage time situation, you'd like to make it count a little bit more, but it was definitely a slight confidence boost.
But that can revive the season a little bit, though. Like, it can revive the confidence even if you get it in garbage time.
Oh, yeah.
Yep,
Doesn't
definitely.
matter. It matters just to feel it. All it takes is one.
All it takes is one.
It's very true.
Right there with you. All right, well, fellas, what was the vibe out there at the Meadows? I wasn't there. I'm assuming it was a pretty lively atmosphere given these two squads. Got some jokesters out there. You got Rudy, you got yourself, Chris. I think you two are a few of the more popular guys on Mic'd Up. So was it a fun day at the Meadows overall?
Yeah, I'll let Rudy answer. I'll keep it short since I've been talking a lot, but yeah, no, it was definitely electric. I mean, I didn't like to see Rudy homer twice against us, but it's pretty cool. I mean, it's definitely cool when Kyle calls it and then he takes Sawyer deep. I mean, as just a general fan of league, I was like, wow, that's going to be a sweet moment when we look back at this at the end of the year. It's going to be one of the highlights of the year, I'd say. So, there's a lot of home runs. So I'd say in that way, it was pretty fun to watch. And even that Game 3 got intense at the end too.
Yeah.
So, first two games were not super close, so those, it didn't really come down to the wire, but I think we made it interesting in Game 3, and it was a good time, some good banter between the two teams, but no Russ and Sawyer action, unfortunately.
Yeah, we did miss out on that. I just
we were
realized
deprived as viewers. That kind of stinks, but
that does stink. Maybe, I'll probably say this will not be the World Series this year. I'll make a bold prediction, but you never know.
Never know.
I'll make a bold prediction say it's not going to be Preds Gators. Could be Gators for somebody else. Could be Preds for somebody else, but it's not going to be Preds Gators. Heard it here first, guys. Heard it here first.
If it ends up being Preds Gators, regardless of our Waffle House bet, you have to do it again.
No.
Yep.
A second time?
Yep. Bold prediction.
If the Gators make the World Series this year, I will eat the difference of hot dogs that we didn't hit in this weekend's goal.
Yeah, should we mention that? Should we talk about that?
Yeah, definitely. These two guys were part of it. But yeah, if you guys follow us on Instagram, which if you don't, you should, Pipe It Up MLW. But we kind of talked last week. I was like, how many hot dogs is this group going to eat? It's a lot of guys. 4th of July. So I created a group chat called the Hog Logs on Snapchat with all the players. And I was like, what are we thinking for a number, fellas? I'm thinking like 100, 150. That's like a couple per guy. And everyone's like, oh, let Carlington decide. Let Carlington decide. For whatever reason, he's the numbers guy here.
Yeah.
And Matt
we needed
comes out.
Sean is what we needed.
We needed Sean. We needed
Sean.
a real Numbies enthusiast.
Yes.
I really should have added Sean to this.
You should have.
To really be the proctor of the whole thing.
You should have.
Sorry, Sean.
Next year.
But Matt's like, fellas, I've been thinking about it, and the number's going to be 218.5 hot dogs. I'm like, holy cow, that's like 4 or 5 dogs a guy.
That's a lot.
So, and everyone's like, yeah, let's do it. We can do this. Like, not a problem. And I was like, it wasn't really supposed to be like a challenge. Like, it was kind of just more of a curiosity thing, like how many dogs can everybody eat? But Matt sets the bar there at 220 or whatever it was. And I think I realized why, because night 1, Wednesday evening, Matt houses a dozen hot dogs. I don't know how. But PB, roll some Snapchats of Matt just housing dogs. I'll send you some.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
So yeah, I wake up Thursday morning. I'm like, okay, now I see why Matt put it at 200 because this guy's going to eat 20 himself.
Yeah. He single-handedly almost got there. Like for a second, I thought he was just going to will the team to victory.
He kind of did.
Because no one, you know, there were other guys participating, obviously. I don't know what we ended up at. It was probably around the number you originally said.
It was around 165, I think, was the final total.
So we were there, but I thought for a brief moment on Saturday that Matt was just gonna will the team on his own.
Yeah, we started off hot. A couple unlikely heroes. You had Matt, and then Chris Baranowski took down like 7 day one as well.
A lot.
We got off to a great start, and then the group lost some steam. Maybe it was my fault. I was kind of proctoring it. Maybe I should have been firing everybody up a little bit more. I also didn't really pull my own weight. I was cheated out of hot dogs. And this one hits home a little bit.
Hot dog crime?
It was a hot dog crime, and I don't mean this to be because it was for a good cause. So I don't want to sound rude here. It's supposed to be a lighthearted joke.
Hot dog crime for a good cause.
Yeah. Let me explain. So up north where I go in Lewiston, Michigan, my uncle Gary and his brother, who has since passed, but they used to own a hardware store up there. And every Memorial Day, 4th of July, and Labor Day, they would give out free hot dogs outside from like 11 to 1. And that was like the thing. Like the town, everyone would go get free hot dogs. And like it would never run out. It was just unlimited dogs. There'd be mustard and ketchup and relish and onions, all that kind of stuff. And my uncle's brother, Ron, he would be always the one man in the grill. And he'd always be, how about a hot dog? How about a hot dog? And people would come in and be like, free? He's like, yeah, free. Get a hot dog. So that was like the thing of the town for years and years and years. And like I said, he's since passed. So then because of that, this year the town kind of did like a 4th of July hot dog giveaway in his memorial. Yeah, in his honor. And I was told, like, if we run out of hot dogs, we're going to go buy more. We're going to buy more. So I was like, boys, don't worry. Saturday morning, I'm going to be loading up on dogs. And so I get in line once, had a hot dog, and then I get back in line. They're like, that's it. Like, we're all on buns. Like, no more. I was like, you got to be kidding. Ron's rolling in his grave.
That was not I was going to say, that was not in his
again,
honor.
That's in a joking matter. But it was awesome the town did that, but I was definitely like, dang, it should have been unlimited hot dogs.
Yeah.
I was promised unlimited hot dogs.
You were cheated.
So I was cheated out a little bit. I housed 2 more at the campfire that night. I only ate 3 for the weekend, so I was a bit disappointed in myself. 3.5, actually, because I ate half a hot dog at the campfire, too. That someone didn't finish.
I mean, I didn't set the line. I'm going to be honest. I had 1 hot dog and then 2 corn dogs just to like try to participate, just to try to get the boys there. But the number was, I mean, that's a lot of hot dogs to eat.
Well, again, I didn't really.
And it's one thing is like, I feel like you get to the 4th. If you don't make the progress on the actual 4th, you're never going to get there. Cause
you're not going to go back for more.
It's like the 4th, you're like, it's the 4th of July, hot dogs. Like, yeah, let's eat 10. Why not? But then it's like you eat 10 on Thursday. Like I was shocked that Matt like doubled down and basically duplicated that like 2 days later.
Yeah, I agree. I think these two guys, Chris and Rudy, you guys pulled your weight a little bit, didn't you? You guys both clocked some dogs in. No, Chris?
I had a late push on Sunday.
Yeah,
I had 4 dogs.
Come on, you rallied.
Yeah, you rallied.
Outside of that, I was up north as well, and had this been last weekend, we were on our friends golf trip the prior weekend. I was housing dogs left and right. I mean, I was just I had a bunch of meat missiles, man. I mean, I think I was probably at 7 or 8. I probably would have made more of a push to eat even more had that been when the competition was. But I mean, I had the absolute 4th of July staple of eating spaghetti, which it was good, but that's not the first thing that comes to mind when I think of the 4th. So yeah, I was up north and I didn't plan out any of the dinners, so I just had no access to them, and I would have had to drive like 8:30, just go get a hot dog. And then I went golfing. I was going to get a couple at the turn, even though we only played 9 holes. I was going to get a couple. I didn't have any hot dogs, man.
No
I was
dogs at the turn. What is that?
That course,
that's a
I'll
crime.
never be back for sure. Yeah, that course sucks.
I would ask for my money back for the round.
For real, I was not happy about that because I was looking forward. I was like, okay, I could, because I knew on Sunday I was going to have it home to house a few for the boys. But I'm like, if I can get 2 down on Saturday, I feel like getting a 5 or 6 that's good for the squad. I feel like that's pulling your weight. But I felt like I just got some, again, like my home run, just some garbage time numbers on Sunday when it was all said and done.
But it got the boys fired up in the group chat. Let's go. Chris is rallying. They got us fired up a little bit.
I tried, man. I was too full after the 4, though. I was just stuffed. So I don't know how Matt did it, but 4's, I'm a big eater, but 4's too many for me, man.
Jack, you had some corn dogs. Rudy, did you have some corn dogs too?
So I didn't have corn dogs. I actually have a funny story. So I think it was on the 5th. Me and the boys were having some cold pops, and I bought 16 hot dogs. Hopefully, I was trying to put all of those down. But it was like, I don't know, 1 o'clock at night, and I got hungry, so I made a pack of 8 and went through all 8 of those. And I actually cracked my. Yeah, is that a problem?
That's just impressive. 8 dogs that late at night.
That's unreal.
Yeah, I needed 16, but
you just casually said, I took down those 8.
I mean, that's great for digestion.
Yeah.
Yeah, the toilet wasn't happy in the morning, that's for sure. But no, so I woke up in the morning and my back molars cracked in half from eating one of those hot dogs.
There's no shot at dog cracked your molar, Rudy. I'm being
dangerous food.
I swear on my life.
How, dude? Was there a rock in the hot dog?
Dude, I don't know. The buns were a little stale and a little crunchy, I guess, but my
probably bought those $1.50 for 8 bar-ass hot dogs.
I think you should probably get your teeth checked out because that seems like you got some pretty brittle molars back there.
Oh, well. I mean, I brush every day. It's bad genetics.
Every other day, let's be honest, Rudy.
Well, yeah, at least once a week.
Okay. All right. We got 2 minutes left here in the Zoom meeting, fellas. Rudy, I'm going to go to you first. Preds are 6-3 at the break. What do you think your final record will be out of the 6 remaining games?
I think Crash has at least got 4 more on him. I think we have 2 more series, so he's got 4 wins there. I think Levi gets his first at some point in game 2. I think we go 5-1 to finish the season.
11-4, it'd be solid. Wow. Very doable, but it'd be solid. Chris, how about the Gators? You guys are 3-6. 6 left.
Although I hope for a lot better than this, and I do think we're going to win one of the next 2 series, I'm going to say probably 6-9-ish range. Just to be realistic. Especially if we don't win that first series, we're definitely going to be experimenting a little bit in Vermont. So I'd say it'd be kind of unreasonable to put the line any higher than that based off of the year we've had. But we're going to go out there and try our hardest, man. I mean, the season's not over. Diamondbacks did it, a few years ago, Jimmy's rookie year. They were 2-7 going into the All-Star break, and they ended up literally fit the 2 seed. So, and we play them again this year. So, maybe we go out there, we sweep them in Vermont, we clean up 2 or 3 against the Cats, and we live to fight another day in the postseason. We'll see.
You never know.
You never know, dog.
You never know. But all right, fellas, appreciate you joining us tonight on the pod. Good luck to both of you the rest of the way. Rudy, we'll see if you get home run number 3 here anytime soon. And Chris, I got a feeling I think the Gators are going to win a series before the year's over.
I think so too.
I'm calling it.
We need it.
But we'll see.
Let's do it.
But all right, fellas, appreciate it, and we'll catch you later.
Take care.
Yep.
Peace.
All right, thanks to those fine gentlemen. Jack, any final comments on your end about this series?
Fun video. I mean,
it was fun.
It's I don't know when I'll get bored of watching Sawyer's drop ball, just because it just looks so it doesn't even look real. I feel like when he just the way he throws it, just every time you're like, wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. But fun series. I don't wish the Preds too much luck. Obviously, we got them in Chicago, which is going to be an awesome series.
Yeah, we heard over 200 tickets sold already.
Yep, ticket. You guys got to go get your tickets. Get them while they're hot.
It's gonna be a fun one. Some big names in the building, I know. And Curtis Granderson, actually, this is alongside his charity at his alma mater. He actually gave MLW a shout out about the series on TBS a few nights ago during a Phillies Cubs game he was calling. So that was super cool. And it was just, it's a very full circle thing, especially because, as you guys know who follow closely, like Curtis was a big childhood idol of ours, but growing up as Tigers fans. So
Curtis Granderson reminds me, when I think of Curtis Granderson, the Tigers, I don't even know if they still do this anymore, but they used to kind of have this marketing, which I actually thought was a good sort of campaign, but their marketing campaign was like, who's your Tiger was basically the line of the campaign. And it was kind of, who's your favorite player on the Tigers basically.
I like that campaign too.
I thought it was an awesome campaign. And when they were doing that, that was when Curtis Granderson was not only on the Tigers, but like probably playing his best ball on the Tigers. He might have been the most selected of who's my Tiger.
For real.
It might have been Curtis Granderson. I think he was hitting leadoff for us. Center fielder.
Yep.
I mean, this is coming from not a baseball guy.
No,
this was back when I was younger and the Tigers were good.
Yeah.
I actually paid a little bit of attention. So
Tigers.
That's kind of what it reminded me of. So yeah, like playing now in his stadium it's gonna be really, just surreal, like you said.
Yeah. Lucky you get to be a part of it.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Bangarang in Chicago?
I need one. You
do need one.
I need a Bangarang. So
that'll be a
we'll
fun
see.
one. That'll be a fun one.
Yeah.
Magic Preds. For real, get your tickets for that series if you're in the area. We'll make a little road trip. PB put that link in the description for the Chicago series tickets coming up at the end of July. A couple more weeks.
Yep.
Crazy couple more weeks. But the thing I wanted to say about the series, Jack, to wrap up on the Preds versus the Gators is Cratch is good. I thought his two-seam looked a little... He's just all right. I thought his two-seam looked like... It looks like it's evolving a little bit to me. I don't know, the way it was coming out of his hand looked a little different than I remember it, but maybe that's just me having a bad memory. But I watched it back and it was like really coming out of his hand, like it was almost like underhand. Like he was throwing it up and it was coming down a little bit more.
Yeah.
It didn't look as flat to me. It was very like coming down at an angle. I don't know.
I mean, I think guys like Ryan, guys like Jordan, they've just been doing this for so long that depending on the ball, depending on the day, depending on how their arm feels, they kind of just go out there and like figure it out.
It's like 100%.
However, I need to grip this ball and throw it with my hand and my wrist to throw a strike and throw what I want to do. They end up figuring it out. So yeah, he does look, he looks different from time to time. And then you got him, jumping off the mound like a kangaroo and sniping
knuckleballs
and literally piping it up.
Yeah.
Literally piping it up. Some of those knuckleballs were disgusting.
Should be illegal.
And to your point earlier, he's only doing those on counts that he's like way ahead.
But so, he's good enough to get ahead though. Is the thing. It's not as easy.
Well, that's what I'm saying is he's good enough to get ahead. So it's like not only is he striking people out like that, but it's not like he's really, there were some good at bats by the Gators, obviously, but he's striking them out in that fashion when he's like way ahead. It's not like he's battling in, full counts and not walk. He doesn't walk a lot of guys.
Well, that's why I think
he had one walk. Did he have one walk?
I think so.
Yeah. I don't know if he had one walk, but he did not have very many.
I can pull it up, but that's why I know the MLW fan base is big in Chicago. Again, already 200 tickets sold, and we have a lot of fans in the Midwest, and this is a good chance to see Ryan throw a full series in person.
Yes.
With the MLW rules, not an MLW tournament, this the same distance, same speed limit, same strike zone. You'll see the dominance.
Yeah.
Live and in person if you go to that series. So it's
hopefully not too dominant.
It's impressive to watch.
It is.
Well, Jack will hit 4 home runs off him, but
it's must see TV.
Jack,
Ryan knows I do have his number.
The last time that a Pipe It Up host faced Ryan in an out-of-state series,
they had 4 home runs.
They had 4 home runs.
That's right.
Well, only 2 are off Ryan, I think, but 4 home runs.
They still have 4 home runs.
Yes. So
I love it.
Do your job here.
Trending.
Do your job here.
Take that into account, Frank.
Frank can't even comprehend
Frank
what you
doesn't
just
even
said.
know.
No, he's not wired. He's not that smart.
He doesn't get it.
Speaking of fuzzy numbers, let's jump into fuzzy numbers now, presented by Shedball, as always. I got an update from the Shedball commish. There continues to be a delay on getting more videos out, but we will be sure to let you know here on Pipe It Up when the next one gets scheduled to drop on the Shedball YouTube channel. In the meantime, make sure to register as a fan online for free at shedball.com for the chance to win $1,000 in the Season 3 Pick'em Challenge. When you do, you'll get notified when it's time to make your picks. Once again, that's shedball.com to enter. That's shedball.com. All right, take it away, Tim.
Thanks, gentlemen. Another week, another pod, another chance for Fuzzy Frank to drop some fuzzy numbers on you. And this one's a big one. Grab your favorite hot dog, fill up your nice cold glass of root beer, and get ready for the Mallards versus the Magic. You got the Top Duck and the Magic Giraffe leading their squads together in this rivalry matchup. And Fuzzy Frank surprised me. I'll just go ahead and read what he has for us. He said the series winner is the Midwest Mallards, 3-0. MVP, Jordan Robles, for his dominant pitching and possible contributions at the plate. And the highlight, the continued struggles of Coughlin and Agner. So while Jack may consider a 3-0 prediction, quote-unquote, disrespectful, Fuzzy Frank's there for it all day.
Okay, well...
Wow.
That's really a tough one for you
to
swallow.
So is Frank predicting like we just go hitless again?
I think Frank just thinks we suck, which maybe he's right.
He's been right about a lot of stuff far, so...
This is our chance to really get revenge at him, especially you, because he just said 0-3 for you.
Yeah.
And you're going to play bad.
You know what? I'm starting to... My blood is starting to boil a little bit here against Frank. I got some qualms with Frank. I'm going to put my foot down here. It will not be 3-0. It will not be 3-0.
Okay.
That is... Come on.
That's what I said.
That's what you said. And that's apparently what Frank says.
Me and Jack are going to show up and play some good ball. Got to fade him on that take. You can't. How could we tail that?
I'm not tailing that. Yeah. I refuse. I refuse to tail anything that Frank just said.
I want to just know what Frank looks like.
Frank and I are no longer in like a state of peace now. No. It's
I told you, Jack,
I don't know if it's war yet.
You don't want to make enemies with the robot.
I know.
As soon as Frank gets a little smarter, he'll call. You never know. He gets in contact with the wrong robots.
But I think what's happened is Frank's gone through the first, however many series we've done. He's got a good record or whatever, and I think he's just getting a little bit too big for his britches now. I think he's getting ahead of himself. I
agree. That's bold.
That's a bold prediction.
Bold to come on here, Frank, and share that with us.
The gall. The disrespect. I will double down, and that is just disrespectful.
Yeah, that's a tough take, but I think Mallards 3-0. Frank, I'm with you there, but I do think, given that you support this podcast, Frank, it's tough to go 3-0 in this one. It's okay. I think it's okay for me to say it because I'm playing in it, but as a third party,
but that's your prediction, though.
It is my prediction. But I'm a player in it, so it's a little different. I feel like.
I love you, Frank. I was kidding about what I said before. I do love you supporting this podcast. I love this segment. But you and I are going to have a sit down talk, I think.
You got to draw the line somewhere.
You got to draw a line, and there's got to be some boundaries, some rules, some
mutual respect. You think
you can't come into someone else's house and disrespect them.
Maybe Frank wasn't programmed to have feelings. Maybe it was just a numbers thing. Clearly. Yeah.
Clearly.
All right. Well, thanks again to Shedball for sponsoring. Once again, head over to shedball.com to check them out. Okay, let's backtrack to the comment of the week this week. A lot of the comments, Jack, like the popularity comment was definitely saying Adam should have threw game 3. I didn't include that as the comment of the week because again, a lot of people said that, but that was like the most popular comment for sure. Was people asking for Adams instead of Sawyer. So we'll see if that ever comes to fruition this year.
We're not necessarily looking for the most popular.
No, I'm not at all.
We're just looking for the comment.
I just wanted to share that observation that I saw while hunting for the comment of the week. I noticed that for sure in the comment section. But the comment of the week comes from James, and he said, I met Ryan at Anderson University when his team, Alma, played baseball. It was cool. Period.
I like it.
It's just the most informative and
just gets right to the point.
Declarative comment we've ever gotten.
Yes.
I'm glad it was cool.
Doesn't beat around the bush. It was cool.
What if he just said it sucked? I met Ryan. It stunk.
That might have made it funnier. But I also would have known that he was lying because there's no way that would have sucked.
Ryan is a jolly guy.
Yeah.
Just like his father. Good people. Yeah. Good people. But, okay, let's bounce into the Waffle House Challenge update, Jack. This was big for me because 2-1 Preds was my exact prediction, and you had 2-1 Gators.
I did.
So this was 3 points for Tom, no points for Jack. That knocks us up at 13 all here. And this also is the exact halfway point of the season.
Yes.
So big time.
I mean, I think it plays into the whole, it only makes sense that we're tied at this point. The league is it's a parity league, right? We've talked about it enough. I mean, we're only really picking, 3 games in a series. So it's like, it makes sense that we're tied. We're two smart guys. I thought this was going to be, I'm going to be honest, this one stung a little bit to lose this one because I was really confident.
I was shocked you went Gators on this one.
And I knew you, and that's why I did it, because I knew you were going to go Predators 2-1, and I thought this is a great chance to like build more of a lead. They kind of got their first two series of gelling with the new guys on the team out of the way. I liked what I saw out of Adams the series before. Having the Preds missing their number 2 arm, basically to me it was like they're going to lose that second game. No, Steven, no shot on you. It's just I think that the Gators bullpen is just
numbies. Just numbies.
Yeah. I mean that's just numbies. So I was thinking that's an automatic win there, and they just got to steal one against Ryan, which I thought was doable. I thought it was worth the risk. So this was a riskier pick, I would say, but it was one that like I felt good about. And now we're sitting here tied. My gut said Preds. My brain said go Gators, and my heart said go Gators. And I should have listened to my gut, and I would have still been winning. But
I can't pull it up right now because I don't have internet. But I believe this is a chance this week, Jack, for you to gain some ground back because I think we're also split decision here.
We are. This is a massive.
Because I have 3-0 Mallards, you have 2-1 Magic. So even if it's like a 2-1 Mallards win or it's a 2-1 Magic win, like it's either way, only one guy's getting points here.
But someone is getting points.
Someone's going to get points for sure, just like this previous one. And I think even the next series is the same way. I think we're split there too. But so we're playing for not only our teams and our pride and to prove Frank wrong, but also for points in the Waffle House bet too.
Major points.
A lot at stake at the Meadows for this one coming out on Friday, so make sure you guys tune in. But we also got to think about, Jack, too. We'll do our predictions for Slate 4, of course, like after the All-Star break.
Yep.
Do we want to put anything at stake points-wise during the All-Star game or the Home Run Derby, or is that too much? Any bonus points available? We have to mill over that thought for a couple weeks.
We could think about that.
Yeah.
Maybe I feel like if you, it would be a fun thing to do to just run through the Home Run Derby. I don't know if the bracket would be out before, but we'd probably know who was in it before we did a podcast.
Well, I mean,
if we knew the bracket,
we'll know internally.
I think it would be fun if we did if we knew what the bracket was and we filled it out, and if you got the winner right, you get an extra something.
I mean, how do you not pick Cratched?
Well,
how do you not pick Cratched?
Maybe we both could pick Cratched then, but
yeah, we could do some sort. I think you have to do something very small because I don't want this to
I don't think it'll be
break.
No, I don't think. I was thinking like a point.
Yeah, a point.
Yeah,
that's probably fair. All-Star game, we could also do maybe a point there too. I'm trying to think of what we want to do.
We'll figure it out.
We'll think about it.
It would be
let us
fun,
know in the comments if you guys. We don't want this to like really skew the season as a whole because this is not really related to the season, but maybe a bonus point here or there.
Right.
Could be fun.
Yeah.
So okay.
Or maybe it's just you shave an hour.
That's not a bad idea.
Or something like that.
That's not a bad idea either.
Something like that.
It can help you later on.
Yeah.
Or maybe if
it's like a bonus life. You know what I mean? It's like if you need it, you get it.
Phone a friend, eat a waffle.
Yeah, exactly.
A lifeline.
It's a waffle. It's worth a waffle.
You know what would be even worse though, Jack? Is so say I earned a bonus, but then I win the bet and you lose the bet, then I can like double down and say, remember that Home Run Derby prediction? You got to eat an extra waffle now.
Give me a waffle.
You have 25 hours now instead.
That'd be brutal. That would be brutal.
So bad. It's already bad enough as it is. But all right, well, Jack, we've talked a lot about our predictions for this next series. Frank's off his rocker a little bit, but what do you really think are the keys to this one for the Magic and the Mallards? For me, I think it's just my team's got to start hitting home runs somehow. We are not getting the ball out of the yard. And we did that so much last year, whether it was me or Jordan, Matt. Like, we were all putting the ball over the fence. Really, it was me and Jordan mostly, but the two of us hit a combined, like, 11 or 12 home runs in the regular season and then a couple more in the playoffs, too. So, like, that was huge for us offensively, especially because some of those were, 3-run shots, grand slams, and that sort of thing. And we've really not yet hit a true home run. We had one deflected home run.
Yeah.
In our first series. So that's the difference for us. If we want to sweep, I think it's going to take some home runs.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of my main, I'm picking the Magic to win, but my biggest reason for thinking that the 3-0 prediction from you on the Mallards is a little bit unrealistic is just that the Mallards to date have not played Mallards
Very
wiffle
fair.
ball just as the Metro Magic have not played Metro Magic wiffle ball. So I think the biggest thing for us is just getting back to what we can do, that type of game. I think our pitching, especially our number 2 arm in game 2 has not been at the level that it was last year. I think similar to last year, especially in the beginning of the year, we struggled a lot having a supporting cast of batters around Grant. That continues to be an issue. It was the theme last year. It's the theme again this year. I've it's like I'm beating a dead horse, but like somebody's got to step up. It's got to be me, Jordan, AJ, Trevor. Someone's got to step up, help get some runs on the board, and we just need RJ to do his thing. So I don't think it's like anything earth shattering. There's no, we're not splitting the atom before this series to try to figure out what to do. We just got to go out there and do what we know we can do.
I like that. Not splitting the atom. A new one for Jack over there.
There you go.
I think I'm right there with you. We haven't played our best football either. I'm just kind of betting on us to finally start figuring it out here because we've been working hard at it, but just haven't seen the results offensively yet. So hoping that changes here. To wrap up, whiff of the week, Jack. We haven't done that in forever.
Okay.
You got a whiff? I'll go first.
I think you take this one. I don't really have a whiff off the top of my head.
Well, the hot dog thing was definitely a big whiff. That
was a
disappointed me a lot. Another whiff, 4th of July weekend, of course. So a lot going on, a lot of people, and it's hot, it's sunny, in and out of the water. But at some point in the weekend, I think it was on Saturday, I jumped like in and out of my dad's pontoon boat quite a few times. It's most likely where the injury occurred, but could have also been like at the sandbar on a rock or like a bottle cap or something. But I'm like in the boat talking to somebody, and someone's like, "What happened to your foot?" I look down.
Oh no!
My big toe is just gushing blood.
Oh,
just a big chunk missing from my big toe. And I was like, "Oh, that's great." And it's in the worst spot too, because like whatever shoe I have on, like it just rubs.
Yeah.
So like all day yesterday and all day today up to this point, I like had it not in a shoe. Like I was kind of walking on it funny. And I think it finally got to scab, so I should be okay. But it probably puts me on a wiffle practice for the week. Not even kidding.
Injuring something like your big toe, it's one of those injuries where you don't realize how much you use it until it's injured. Like you don't realize how much in like every step and every movement you make that you actually make contact and use your big toe until you can't use it.
I'll do you one further. You don't realize how much friction force there is on your toes
in your shoe
when you move in bed on your sheets.
Oh yeah.
It felt like every time I adjusted my foot in bed, like my skin was getting pulled off my toe.
Oh.
And I was like, I couldn't move. It was terrible. So that was a rough night of sleep that first night. But that was my whiff for sure, was just enjoying my sunny day, enjoying my last real day of vacation, then looking down and my foot's just bleeding. I'm like, nice.
I don't have a whiff, but I do have a story to, just a quick story to share. I guess it would be kind of the opposite of a whiff, because it was a cool moment. But I was in a local grocery store near our apartment, and I'm walking to the self-checkout, and there's a Meijer. It was one of those moments where you like feel someone like staring at you, like you can just feel it.
Yeah, that is true.
So I look up, and like this Meijer worker's like staring right at me, and so I kind of make eye contact with him. He definitely sees that I make eye contact with him. I sort of look away, like make my way around the self checkout.
And then you double take.
I kind of do another look.
You do, because they're still looking.
I'm like, that was sort of weird, and I think he's still looking at me, and he's still staring like right at me. So I'm like, now my first thought was like, he was a younger kid. He was wearing like a Tigers lanyard.
Okay.
So I was like, he might actually recognize me, maybe. And turned out that is what it was, and it was like a cool moment because he kind of like intercepted me as I was like leaving, and asked if I played an MLW, and he said like I've been watching it for years. I said, how long have you been watching? He said, I've been watching since I was like this tall. And I was like, that's pretty cool. And the reason I know he's not lying is I asked him what his favorite team was, and what team do you think he said?
Wildcats.
If everyone who's been watching for that
Yeah.
long, their favorite team is the Wildcats. So I believe his name was Andrew. Shout out Andrew.
Shout out to Andrew.
Good, kudos to you, man, for just having the confidence to like say something and pick me out. Got a little picture with him.
Nice.
So I think that was a cool moment for him. Definitely a really cool moment for me. It was sort of funny because there was like other people there, and it's like, why are you like taking a picture with this random kid? I was all like sweaty too. I had just come from like the range, and so I was like it was
discombobulated a little bit.
Yeah, it was probably not my finest selfie, but still cool moment. Definitely not a whiff, opposite of a whiff,
So,
but
Bangarang
I wanted
of the
to
week.
share that. So shout out Andrew.
Shout out to Andrew, Bangarang of the week. I wanted to real quick.
Bangarang of the week. That's a good one. Maybe that's our new segment.
New segment, Bangarang. Whiff or a Bangarang.
Whiff or a Bangarang.
You said like people looking at you, like you noticed it.
Yeah.
And you know how like it is pretty obvious when like someone's staring at you. I was listening to a Joe Burrow interview on a different podcast this morning, and I found it funny how they're like, are you like used to being famous yet? And he's like, yeah, like I kind of am. I think it's been a couple years like in the spotlight. Like I'm like sort of it's my normal now. And he was saying now he's like, yeah, now I always wear sunglasses inside because like I was always like a curious kid, like a people watcher. Like if I recognize someone, I would like look at him and double take type thing. He's like, now when I do that, like I look at people, like everyone's looking at me. So it's just weird. He's like, so I wear sunglasses. People don't see me make eye contact with them over and over again.
That's funny.
But I just found that to be like interesting. Like I wouldn't have thought of that, I
No.
guess. Like, I mean, it makes sense because when you see someone famous, yeah, you do kind of stare at them.
Yeah.
But it would just be so odd to like walk into a crowded room and then to like be kind of scanning the room and every person's just boom, like right here at you.
Dude,
little bit
when
freaky.
you're that famous, man, it's tough. It's like you can't even walk into you can't walk into a grocery store
No,
and like
not when you're that famous.
go get your groceries without someone noticing you. So
Yeah, I feel like that would. I mean, he seems to handle it really well, but I feel like that would get pretty old pretty quick. It would just suck. Like it'd be so fun to be famous when you want to be famous,
yeah,
but like when you want to go get a loaf of bread, it would really kind of suck.
yeah,
But I mean, comes with the dinner, I guess. So
yep.
little story I wanted to share there. You just reminded me of it with your story about the Meyer thing. So appreciate y'all tuning in as always. Shout out to PB working hard on the edits. We appreciate it, man.
You the man,
He
PB.
ate 6 hot dogs as well.
Attaboy.
He put in some work this weekend. So appreciate the efforts from all the MLW guys housing the dogs. It was fun. I definitely think my plan, Jack, is to, of course, set another number for next year's 4th of July holiday. But I also 100% plan to, personally, can't speak for everybody, but every time I have a hot dog, I'm 100% going to send it in that group chat.
Yeah,
100%.
I think that group chat
the hog
will.
log.
I think that group chat will probably stick around.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I like it to be just dogs.
yeah. It should just be dogs.
I like just dogs.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, appreciate you all tuning in. I once fell asleep on a bench at the Denver airport and slept there for 3 hours. We will see you all next week.
Pump it up, 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 pump it up.